Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome wherever you are in the world, and happy Easter. Happy Greek Easter if you're Greek like me. Happy normal Easter if you're normal like everyone else. And I hope you get all the eggs you need, all the eggs you want. And I hope that you all spend some time with your families, but not before you've spent it with your extended family. Lubo and Savva, the greatest duo since Phil
Morecambe
and
and
Grant
Wise?
Mitchell. Huh?
I thought you were going to say since Morecambe and Wise.
I was going to say since Gray and Bergvall in the double pivot, but I thought we've not seen it yet. We've not seen it yet.
Not yet.
Lubo, happy Easter. How are you? You well?
Well, alive and above ground, so all is good. And you?
If that's the barometer, then yes, I still have a pulse. I'm awake. I woke up another day. Life is good. Mate, lots to talk about this morning. And obviously, we normally do the Spurs review. Hang on, I'll tell you what a terrible faux pas from me. Boom. There it is, the Spurs review. We normally do the Spurs review in the evening, but tonight I am out for dinner with Familia. So I can't turn it down on an Easter Sunday. So today we're doing it this morning. A lot to talk about. It's been a very interesting 7 or 8 days. The lows of Wolves, the high of Frankfurt, the ensuing war between fans that can't just be happy that we won. Everyone going at each other. We've got Ben Davies with a possible new contract. We've got talks of Bentancur and Romero going to Atletico Madrid to play for Diego Simeone. We've got Nottingham Forest coming up at home. It's all happening, Lubo. I don't know if it's a good time to be a Spurs fan or not anymore. I just don't know, mate. What were you saying?
Well, I don't know. Listen, it's the first time in 6 years we've been in the European semi-final. So
very true. Very true.
Can't be too bad. Having said that, you look at the league form, and I can't remember anything like this for 21 years. But there you go. That's Spurs, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know the sad thing is that yesterday when I'm watching Gillette Soccer Saturday, that's not a plug for Gillette, by the way. When I'm watching the Soccer Saturday, I'm going, please score Southampton so that Spurs don't fall even further down the table. That's how bad it's got that I'm going, please score Southampton, the worst team in the world. But they did, and they did stop Spurs going into 16th. We have remained in 15th. And we do play tomorrow, so we will get to that. Let's start, Lubo. Listen, as the other night, good performance, really good performance. If we're going to be honest, good defensive performance. We managed to get through, and immediately it started the back and forward of comments of, oh, you don't deserve that because you don't like Ange, and you said we'd never win anything, and all of this kind of stuff, which led me to believe, it started like, would I apologize? Would I apologize to a manager that's lost 21 games this season and counting? No. What, for beating teams like Frankfurt, Alkmaar, Elfsborg? No. He's paid to do it. Why would I apologize? Idiot. I want to start today. I want to talk about this. Okay, I've got a few banners lined up for today. The strange thing about this is everyone was in euphoria after the game, then on Friday. But I do think we overlook this point, Lubo. We overlook this, that got to remember that win, that performance was in essence to save a man's job, wasn't it?
It did. For me, the win is bigger because for me, it's about the club and not any individual.
Understood, but it did save his job, right?
Sure.
If he had lost that, we're now out of every competition and 15th in the Premier League. So
would have been sat here talking about who we think is going to be the replacement.
Right. And that isn't that how mad? And listen, whatever we say, isn't it how mad the difference a penalty makes? Like, if we're going to be honest, we won the game through a penalty. We're either sitting here saying, and we will talk about winning the Europa League, but we're sitting here talking about winning it, or we're sitting here talking about this has been the worst ever season. Who's going to be the new manager? And that's football, right? Fine lines.
But absolutely. The thing that came out from Thursday, just delighted we seem to have a proper way of playing football, a mature way of playing football, rather than under 11s football that we've been watching for the last nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
The players were bang up for it, weren't they? You could see every single one of them was bang up for it. But why aren't they bang up for it every game? And that's a question that I think has also got to be asked. I fully expect them to be bang up for Bodo Glimt in both games. It's not a formality by any stretch of the imagination, but I would be disappointed if we didn't get to the final. And then in a one-off, it's literally it's who turns up on the day. So, you know, we got a chance. Here he is. Here's the man.
Here's Alex.
Here he is.
I'm sure.
Alex, muted.
Alex, you're on mute.
He told me, Alex, you're still muted.
Yeah, I'm here.
You're there. So,
yeah, I'm here.
Alex sent me a text before just saying, I've got to go on Sav's show to tell everyone how good I think Romero played on Thursday night.
I'm sure he did. Good morning, Alex.
Only joking.
Lubo and I.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Yeah.
It's strange, isn't it, Alex? Because we're on the cusp of doing something we've not done for 40 years. 41 to be precise. So I get told off if I'm not exactly spot on with my rounding up and down. We're on the cusp of doing something we've not done for 40 years, whilst also being one of the worst seasons we've ever had in 40 years. It's a very weird dynamic, isn't it, Alex?
I think the next 6, was it, how many games we got in Europa League? How many games have we got? About 8 or 7, 9 games?
We've
Something like that.
got six league games, and then we've got 2 semi-finals guaranteed, possibly a final.
So over the next
9 games left if we make the final.
9 games left. 9 games. We're going to see whether on Thursday was real, really real. Because my thoughts on the what's happened at Tottenham from the last game hasn't really shifted, and especially after I had my show on the Friday, speaking to a few people, I think a few people think, and I'm glad what you said on Friday, Savva, as well, because I was getting a bit worried about you getting influenced by Lubo, that that we need to see the Premier League games now are important now. It ain't no. There ain't no.
Hang on. Why was you worried about me? What did Lubo do to me? What did he?
Because the thing is, I think it's more to do with other people. Because I think the other people, the audience, having a go at you because I think because of what your stance is with the manager, and you're like me. You know, when you've got something, when you're thinking that when you've got your thoughts, your opinion, you're not going to change. But people go at you because of that, and I think because we won on Thursday, it was quite easy to say, yeah, we need to give them credit. And I think you're going to that point where you're like, oh yeah, and I was like, yeah, but we need a little bit more evidence. You know what I mean? We need a little bit more evidence. You know, even though Thursday was good, it was good, but there was other scenarios that could have happened on Thursday that could have seen things change on Thursday. Sure. You know what I mean? Sure. But they didn't score the equaliser, and we were very, very defensive. And what would we done after that? You see what I'm saying? We had the momentum. You see what I'm saying? Because they didn't score. And it's the same like Man City was the same against Brentford when we won 2-0. It's kind of similar. You get what I'm saying? And there's a lot of things that I think people have ignored. And I spoke to people on my show, and they noticed it, that he was talking a lot to his coaching staff. He was looking at the iPads that he was using as well. He was using a lot of it. You know what I mean? You know? Yeah. So there's a lot of things that happened on Thursday night, which was very much coincidence because we know what happened beforehand, look at the press and stuff, which I said on my show, that he's very much under pressure. I think he's been trolling us since that game, by the way. He's been trolling us. He must do social media, angepostecoglou, because the way that he goes on, honestly,
we'll come to Ange.
But I think what I'm trying to say, my point is the next 6 games and Europa League games will show us whether Thursday was real. You get what I'm saying? Now those Premier League games are crucial now. They're crucial now.
We'll talk about that because I don't think we're going to see that. And just quickly, I'm sorry, right? Just quickly, I can't just have people telling lies. I'll never stand for it. Lubo, we've worked together all year. Alex, we've worked together for 3 or 4 years. No one has ever heard me say this. No one has ever heard me say this. You will never hear me say this. Guys, you know my stance. We talk every day on WhatsApp in our group. I have never, ever, ever said that I will be happy to finish 17th and win a trophy. Ever, ever in a million years. That's not my stance.
I will say in your defence, me and you have been at it arguing in the last 24 hours because I think that with nothing to play for, it's better rotating players which for the next 2 games, which Angie's doing. And Savva said, no, I want to see a full strength team for both games.
Damn right. But Darius, first of all, at the beginning of the season, I would never have talked about 17th. In my wildest dreams, I would not have thought.
Who would have dreamt would have been this bad?
Exactly. So this is a lie. Second of all, right, I am someone that always says, I have arguments, like me and Daigle used to argue about this. He would say, I'm happy with 10th and a trophy. Nah, sorry, if you're good enough to win a trophy, you're good enough to be fighting for that top 4 as well. So, no, this isn't me. Please don't listen to this person. I don't do the lies. But thank you for trying to be a troll. But unfortunately, listen, you need to find receipts if that's what you're going to do. But look, guys, this is an interesting point. Let's move on to, because Alex just alluded to it there. Lubo, you just alluded to it as well. It's interesting. We don't play the gap between playing Frankfurt away and the first leg at home against Bodo is 14 days exactly, right? It's 2 weeks. Anne just come out. And for me, again, it's one of these things where we always say, oh, Anne just said something weird again. We don't understand. He's talking about, well, we've got to make 5 or 6 changes or whatever he said for Forest because of players being in the right space. Now, I don't understand what this means. If they're not in the right space after a performance like Thursday, what does this mean? I don't quite get it. And why are we talking about rotating 2 weeks before a game? I don't understand this at all, guys. What does all of this mean?
All I can think of is, and I sort of liken this to Spurs after playing Real Madrid when beaten 3-1 at Wembley. We played Palace at home 4 days later. And I think the performance was absolutely abysmal. And Gazzaniga, I think it was Gazzaniga in goal, made 4 or 5 brilliant saves. And we nicked it 1-0 with a goal from Sonny. And the players, it was like after the Lord Mayor's show. And that's maybe what he's alluding to. I can't think there's anything else. I mean, Arsenal drew against Brentford after smacking Real Madrid 3-0. You know, and their performance had gone down a fraction. I think it's just, you know, you build yourself up for a massive game. You know, and these players are human beings. They're coming down as well after that. I mean, it's, you know, that was a massive result for the team, for the whole club. That was an enormous result on Thursday night.
Massive.
So for me, that's the only thing that I can see, the only explanation, only bit of logic I can think of, that maybe he's going to look at players. The other thing also is that players like Kulu and Richie, who are now back and fit, need game time. It's important they need game time. Do you need to risk Van der Ven for 2 complete matches? I don't think so. You know, we know he's, for me, that tackle he made in the first minute could be the tackle that, you know, you look back, if we win this tournament, you look back and that tackle was the key moment, you know, in the run to the final. If we win it, if we get there and win it. So for me, he is so important. So important.
No, completely understand. I mean, look, welcome, Jose. Good morning to you and happy Easter. How are you?
Good morning, Jose.
Should we tell him he's on mute or just...
Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's just funnier to let him talk. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, gentlemen. Happy Easter Sunday to you all, and happy Easter Sunday, everybody in the chat. Yeah, I'm well. I've just finished my show, and yeah, I'm back. I'm here. I said I'd come, and I'm here.
Good morning. Good morning. It's lovely to have you here. It's lovely to have you here. Whichever one it is, feel free if you would like to If you would like to join the building, just send me a WhatsApp. You've both got my number. Don't give it out. I'm sure I'd get dog's abuse. Jose, we're just talking there. It's obviously a great win. We're going to get more to the Frankfurt game in a minute, but life doesn't stop because we're in a semi-final. You know, there are league games to go. There are people that have paid good money to go and watch Tottenham play. What did you make, Jose, of the comments about, he's talking about, players and a good place and talking about, he said we must rotate. I don't quite understand it. You know, there's 2 weeks until we play them. I don't quite understand why we'd have to rotate tomorrow for the game against Forest when you've still got Liverpool in between. What do you make of a good place and the rotation? Is it a little bit over the top for you, or is he doing the right thing? What do you make of it?
I think the good place is coming from, we've just come off a victory and we've qualified for the semi-final. So we should be in a good place because that's the result we've just recently had. So that we should be in a good place for that. So I understand that part. The thing that I didn't understand, I just said this on my show just now, is that he did the press conference and he said that he may make 5 to 6 changes for Forest game. Now that could be looked at 2 different ways. One, Nuno Espirito Santo will be kept guessing, but what 5 or 6 is he going to change, right? But he might rest players, and you've got players. I think I saw Lubo just as I came in talking about some of the players that need minutes. Then you know, in all honesty, the football now is a squad game. It's not a team game anymore where the same 11 will go week in, week out. I think Newcastle found that out yesterday. And is it Jason Tyndall? Tyndall, after he was interviewed, he said, I think it's become too much. We haven't changed our team, I don't know, in 7 matches. They've had the same lineup. They've played 3 high-tempo Premiership games in the last 7 days, and they went in with the same side yesterday. And he said by the 60th minute, he felt that his team were absolutely dead on the floor. So, yeah, you've got to make some changes. Whether I'd change 5 or 6, I'm not sure I would. Unless there's underlying reasons, I'm not sure that I'd make 5 or 6 changes. Yeah, I'd make some changes, but not 5 or 6 is not what I'd be looking to do. And at the end of the day, when you look at it wholeheartedly, if you're going to make these changes, where your change is likely going to be, because the places that you've got the most changes you can make are either in midfield or up front. In defence, we've got less opportunity of making changes. So,
Jose, we've got Spence and Davies you could bring in.
And Danso,
correct. So there's 3 there. In midfield, Maddison, I'm sure they won't risk after Thursday.
He's not playing tomorrow. He's already said he's not in the squad.
So Kulu will come in.
Kulu will come in there. You'd expect maybe Odebear to come in.
Yeah.
Richie to come in. So you got Richie, Odebear, Kulu, Danso, Spence. I mean, there's 5. Before
but
David.
Isn't the worry, Lubo? Again, a lot of what I say, I don't feel people in my chat ever get this. A lot of what I say is for devil's advocate purposes, for debate reasons. It's amazing how many people the other day were messaging me, Lubo, going, I can't believe after your debate with Lubo that you're Levy in. And I was like, oh, you really don't understand what I was doing, do you? But I found that pretty funny. And 1 win and you're Levy in. Yep, that's it. Yeah, one win and Levy in. But guys, there's 2 ways of looking at it. First of all, I do feel that when he's talking about the rotation, it's almost like we're talking about we're playing on Thursday. It's almost like we're saying, well, hang on, we've got Monday night Forest and then Thursday we're in the Europa League. The concerning thing for me is we don't play them from when we play Forest tomorrow, we don't play them for 10 days. You've got the Liverpool game slap bang in the middle. And if we're talking about wrapping players in cotton wool, there's 2 factors in this. One, if they're all going to get minutes anyway, you're not actually mitigating the risk factor because they're all going to be training and playing, right? And 2, what about cohesion? What about some sort of consistency? You know what we saw on Thursday, and this comes back to Alex's point. We're all talking about, well, let's see if we now adopt that into the league. But we can't if we keep making those changes. We won't adopt that because the players coming in didn't play the other night, so we don't know that they can play like that. So, I don't know, it just all feels a little bit too early to start talking about wrapping players in cotton wool. Surely players want to be playing. Surely players want to be going in with form and energy in their legs and feel good factor, don't they?
I think it's quite simple what's going on. I think there's one scenario that what Ian said, right? That the players need minutes. Cool, that's fine. I think some of the things what Jose says, cool, that's fine. Another reason's quite simple. He wants to go back to doing handball. Simple as that. He wants to go back to doing handball because what else? Why? What else? Because all that energy, he says he needs to wrap them all in cotton wool. You're wrapping them all in cotton wool because they need their legs because they need to play the game that they want to play.
But Alex, my point is this: let's say we wrap. I mean, let's be brutally honest. When we're talking about wrapping in cotton wool, Van der Ven springs to mind, doesn't it? More than anyone, if we're going to be honest. Yeah. When we're talking about wrapping players in cotton wool, and this is the debate we were having on the group last night. For me, I don't think it's good for any footballer if they're having a 2-week break, and then suddenly we wheel them out and go on, be brilliant. I don't think that's how. When you listen to a lot of pros speak, they want it. They want it when they've got it in their legs. They want it when they've been playing. They want to go in with feel good factor. So for me, it's a double whammy. If they don't play or they play 30 minutes here, 40 minutes there, Spurs lose to Forest and lose to Liverpool. Now you're going in with players that haven't been playing. There's no confidence because you've lost 2 in a row. I think this is a real dangerous game to play. That's just my opinion. I think it's a real dangerous game that we think we're good enough to just wheel players out and go on, turn it on.
But I think that's a negative. I think that's a negative. I said that. I said that as a negative. I said that because I that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying at the moment. That's why I can't judge Thursday at the moment, because from what you just said, what he's just said there, to me, that says to me, because I don't like the manager, and I think I've got an agenda against this manager now, right, is that for me, he says, well, we're going to go back to handball on Thursday, on Monday night, so we need players that have got energy to attack, to go gun-ho again, right? That's what it says to me, you know what I mean? It'll be interesting to see what he does against Liverpool, because Liverpool... a completely different side at Anfield, so that'll be interesting. But to me, on Monday night, I think he's just going back to the same old tactic what he did. Because if you don't need that much energy, you can soak up pressure like we did on Thursday. Why can we not do what we did on Thursday? If Thursday was that great, got us through, and it's one of our best games since Man City, since Brentford, all those games that we did really well. Aston Villa. Why are we not doing back to those tactics? Again, it goes back to the thing. He's been listening to his coaching staff too much. That's the whole point. It's coaching staff for me. He hasn't got a clue. That's just me. You know what I mean? But, you know. Go on, Ian, you're going to say something.
The interesting thing also, just to take this conversation one step further, is I was reading that Bodo's league game has been postponed to give them rest in between the 2 matches. So our game 2 weeks today at the Olympic Stadium when we play West Ham. I wonder how many changes he's going to make for that one. So what would you?
I'm not being funny. I'm not being funny, Ian. Ian, I'm not being funny. I'm sorry, but we should be beating Bodo Glimt, right? And I don't care what anybody says, if I'm being disrespectful or not, right? If you put the scenario out there, what we're in right now, a couple of weeks back, would you be taking that situation? Would you be taking that situation?
Listen, if Thursday at 5 to 8, you take Bodo Glimt in the semi-final all day long.
Exactly, you take Bodo Glimt in the semi-final. So I'm not having his whole thing about we need play. No, I'm sorry. Alex, we should be beating Bodo Glimt. I'm sorry, I'm not having it.
Alex, they are there for a reason. They're not there.
Yeah, I understand it, but the thing is, but this is the best opportunity. No, I'm sorry, but if we're going to start talking about Romero, Romero being the best, because I ain't got that much time, so I'm making myself known right now. The point is, though, right, is that you know, if we're going to start talking about Romero had a fantastic game, he's a World Cup winner. That reject from Juventus, Bentancur, I don't still call him reject because he turns up one time, yeah, in my lifetime, yeah,
No.
right. You know, Bentancur, yeah. Now we've got Kulusevski back, yeah, from fitness, yeah. We've still got Richarlison, that below average Emil Heskey, back, and I'm told that he scores goals. He's the next Brazilian number 9, right? And we've got Alderweireld back, the future. Right? I'm sorry, we should be beating Bodo Glimt, and we should be having confidence and should have our chest out right now. I'm sorry. So I'm not hearing the excuses right now. I'm hearing the excuses already because we don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to look like being disrespectful. Right? If we're going to start hearing, if we're going to start saying we're a big team, I want to see that chest. I want to see that chest, bro. You know what I mean? Give me chest. Because at the moment, I'm just hearing nothing. You know what I mean? That's why he called and say to me, oh, you need to be happy. You need to be happy. Pathetic. You know what I mean? Because it's like me saying to my ex-girlfriend, yeah, who's cheating on me how many times? Should I be happy with that? And I take her back like a mug. You having a laugh? Nah, bro. What are you going to say to that?
Yeah, Ian, what are you saying to that, mate?
Well, you need to get on Love Island, mate.
What a response. You need to get on Love Island. Love it. Look, Lubo, Jose, let me ask you. I think the thing is, look, Alex is right in essence, right? I don't believe there is any excuse for going out to Bodo Glimt. Listen, Bodo are a good team. They're organised, they're well drilled. But at White Hart Lane, I expect to take them to the cleaners, right? They are poor away from home. And again, this is where we need to look at some facts. They're poor away from home. They're missing 3 of their best players in the first leg due to suspension, right? 3 of they're missing their best striker. They're missing their best player, Berg, if anyone's watched them, for the first leg. The damage should be done at White Hart Lane. So again, for me, why are we not going full strength against Forest and then a bit weaker against Liverpool, which is the game just before Bodo Glimt? Why are we 10 days before Bodo Glimt rotating at home to Forest? Because, as you said, I don't care. Yeah, these fans pay their money to watch Tottenham. I'm not one of these fans that says nothing to play for in the league. £3.1 million for every place in the league, right? So if we've got fans that say, don't worry about the league, then in the summer, when we're not spending as much money as you want to spend, just remember that you didn't want to win those league games. That's all I'm saying. 3.1 million a league position. That adds up. That adds up at the end of the season, guys.
Yeah, for me, if results go the way that people believe they will go today, then we play Liverpool on what would be their chance to clinch the title next weekend. Because if Arsenal win today and Liverpool win today, then there's a 13-point gap with 5 games to play. Liverpool beat Tottenham next Sunday. They wrap up on it.
Jose, Arsenal got Palace on Wednesday.
Oh, okay. But
so they've got to win that as well.
Yeah, but Arsenal at home against Palace, and I think Palace have been getting pumped left, right, and centre recently. So
I agree.
I think Arsenal at home should deal with Crystal Palace. So I think, in all essence, the money, or the odds are that the league title gets taken to next Sunday, and if it does, then we're going to be playing against the Liverpool team that want to wrap up the league next weekend.
Yeah.
And therefore, you'd like to think that we're not going to be going there to be the bridesmaid. You want us to go in there and we want to go there and put on a performance.
Do we? Isn't it 4 days before Bodo, though? Is it 4?
Yeah, it's 4 days before Bodo. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you know the situation you're going to be in. If you're playing in Europe, you know that you're going to be playing every 3 games a week for the team. So Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal and Tottenham know that from now on to the end of the season, whilst they're all in the semi-final, they're going to be playing, for them 2 weeks, they're going to be playing 3 games a week. We know this.
Two games a week. 2 games a week. 2.
Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. Thursday, Sunday.
2 games a week. 2.
Oh,
I
you know
don't
what I'm
like it when
talking-
people say 2 games a week. If you're going Sunday, Thursday,
God,
yeah, the next
here we
Sunday
go.
falls into the next week.
Old school. In Spain, they say, yeah, today in 8 days, and they mean a week. So yeah, they do this in Spain as well. But anyway, so what I was trying to say. So at the end of the day, we know the teams that you got to play. You know the teams you got left. You know what your calendar looks like now because the 2 semi-finals are now in there. So you know what it looks like. To me, I'm of the opinion that you don't just rest and rotate for the sake of it, like Amarin said he's going to do with Man United. Watching, what's her name? Alice Talks Football, her show. I watched a bit of it this morning. She's already said that Man United, there's a couple of youngsters that he's already put into the side today against Wolves. So Amarin looks like what he said on Thursday. He's actually going to go and do. Now that's down to Man United. Man United do what they want, but for me, Savva, you're quite right. It's quite important. The league places for us, the 3.1 million is important for us because we know what a tight-fisted git we have upstairs working for us. And at the end of the day, if we want to do things, bits and pieces in the summer, or we've got to do bits and pieces in the summer, then you're going to need every penny that you get because, yeah, he's a tight-fisted git upstairs. So for me, I would say you obviously, you don't know about the red zones, the green zones, the orange zones that your players are in. But, okay, so we know Maddison's not going to play tomorrow. So there's an opportunity there for someone to play. Does Richie need the minutes? Does Richie need the minutes from the start of the game? Does he need the minutes coming off the bench? You know, that's what you need to look at. And he needs to weigh up them situations. But I wouldn't be going out and saying to myself, do you know what, let's stick all our eggs in one basket and just go for the Europa League. I think that we should be going on both fronts, trying to get as many points as we can as possible and to try and finish a lot higher than what we actually, well, at least 2 or 3 places higher than what we actually are.
Jose, can I just before Lubo comes in, I think one thing we've got to remember as well, right? We're actually right now trying to defend against this being our worst ever number of defeats in a Premier League season. Isn't there a little bit of pride there? Like, shouldn't it be like we can't just say, oh, because our record is 19 in a Premier League season, if I'm right. It's 19 in a Premier League season. We're currently on 17. Lubo's going to look it up. I've already got it up.
It might be 20. It might be 20. I think it might be 20.
Lubo, I've got it up.
20.
It's 19. It's 19. Okay. So we lost 20 in 91-92 before it turned into the Premier League.
And we lost 21 in the year we got relegated, which was the worst ever.
Yeah. And that was over a 42-game season. We're on 17 defeats, guys. Right? Look at it. For me, I've said all along, even if this man wins the Europa League, for me, it doesn't overtake how bad we've been. It doesn't for me. Brilliant. We celebrate. We've won a trophy, but it doesn't eclipse that. Surely we do not. It will be the most Spursy thing ever for fans to go, I don't care that we've had a record number of defeats. We won the Europa. Surely there's some pride there. Surely we've got to set up and not go back to Ange Ball. And we've got to, Lubo, it's, I just feel like people like you pay your money. You'll be there Monday night, right?
Okay.
Surely
if he picks the team,
games don't matter. I just don't. I don't get this.
No. If he change, let's go through potential changes. Spence comes in. You wouldn't call that a drop off, would you?
No, that's fine.
That's fine. For me, Richie for Solanke, I don't think there's that much of a drop off there, to be honest. Madison's out, so Cooley comes in.
Does he? Does he know the condition of the players? Is that why we've had so many injuries all season? Yeah, because Ange knows. Told you, this guy is the biggest flip-flop ever. Oh, sorry, Uber. I can't stand the flip-flopping. Go on. Sorry, mate.
Sorry. So Porro, Spence comes in for either Porro or Udogie. There's no drop-off there. Richie comes in for Solanke. Kulu's in for Maddison. So for me, I'm not looking at a weaker side.
Yeah, but it's Lubo. It's about consistency. If you keep look, we're not a well-drilled, well-oiled team, right? So when we're talking about 4, 5, 6 changes, it's not like they're all coming into a system that's fully, is a really well-oiled cog. We're talking about 5, 6 changes. inevitably you lose the game, and then we go, oh yeah, but the Europa League was the important thing anyway. Where's our standards gone? Where's our?
This is his system. It's called chaos, and it's the same. It's a consistent system. We have it every week, pretty much.
Wouldn't you be going with the same thing we saw Thursday night? Shouldn't that be how we play now?
Well, I did say. I think I said when I was on your show beforehand, or the day before, that the fact that we're away from home, Frankfurt are going to push us back, means we will play in a counter-attacking way. So for me, that gave me some hope. I honestly thought we'd lose 3-1, but that's playing as a counter-attacking team. We did at Man City, we did at Brentford. I think we did in the League Cup game at home to City as well when we started their bad run. He doesn't change. We know he doesn't change. Maybe he'll change. Maybe he'll change for the second leg in Norway. Maybe.
Yeah, but I think it's the circumstance.
I can't see him changing. He hasn't done up to now. He goes to City. We get pushed back. He plays counter-attacking football. We turn up the following Thursday against Roma. It's back to normal.
That's what I'm saying. Circumstance. That's why I'm saying circumstance, Ian. You know what I mean? Like, listen, Ian. I've got nothing against you because I enjoy the fact that you have a different opinion to me. But it's just, I think that you just see the evidence is just clear right in front of you. You know what I mean? It's clear. You know, every single time it's like we have a great result like that.
Yeah.
Why can you not incorporate that in his way of thinking? You know what I mean? And this is where I think the team is going to struggle to evolve.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because
Alex, that's not who we are, mate.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. You're right. Absolutely right. So this is where I that's why I felt the way I felt on Thursday. I just couldn't, for the life of me. I should be happy, but at the same time, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm just confused. I'm really confused, and it's like I need these 6 games or 9 games that we've got left to show to me, okay. Either he's taken a lot of influence from his coaching stuff, which is then I'll give him a little bit of credit because then he's taken a little bit of saying, you know what, I was wrong. I need some help. But if he's just going back to his own thing, it's like, well,
Alex, are we just saying that those 11 players that started on Thursday, that's it as far as the squad's concerned? Is that how weak?
No, I'm just saying at the moment, you've got to keep the same.
Whoever comes in should all the players should walk out on that pitch tomorrow night with the same attitude and the same mentality that they started Thursday.
But
whoever it is.
But isn't listen, I completely agree with you, Lubo, but I think one thing that's being overlooked here massively, when we're talking about the players looked up for it and fired up for Thursday night, the players were also set up on Thursday night for the first time in a long time like an actual team. Yeah. Right? So this is my worry. My worry is, Lubo, that tomorrow against Forest, then against Liverpool, we go back to the kamikaze system. And then what we'll do is we'll blame the players that have come in. That's what we'll do. Oh, we'll look at the drop-off to Basuma, to Sarr, to Spence. That's what we'll do. Rather than saying, well, no, it's the tactics. If he adopts those tactics we saw on Thursday night, and by the way, it doesn't have to be to the letter. If you, like Alex said, incorporate that shape, maybe add a little bit more going forward as per his normal style of play, right? If you do that, then yeah, you're right. Making changes won't change anything. But they don't. For me, it wasn't just that they were up for Thursday; it's that it looked organised for the first time in a long time, Lubo.
Well, let's see him do that tomorrow night. Let's see him stick to that. You know, it'll be the first time that he's done that 2 games running. Because he didn't after the City League Cup game. He didn't after the City League game or Brentford. So, for me, Liverpool will probably hardly get out of our thirds, to be fair, next week. So we'll have to play a counter-attacking game anyway.
Oh, yeah, we'll be pinned in against Liverpool.
Yeah, completely.
But again, Lubo, you're right. I want to see it against a team like Forest that don't come out and play. Right? So Forest are the they're the ultimate transition team with Alanga, Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs-White, right? So I want to see, against a team like that, are we going to be lured into leaving massive gaps and pushing up to the halfway line again? Because if we see that tomorrow, then he hasn't learned. It can't be that he did it because it's, let's be fair, I'll go back to the beginning of this show, Lubo. that win saved his job.
Totally.
I don't want to see these tactics implemented because it saves a job. I want to see him implement tactics because it's for the better of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Thank you for saying that, Savva, because that's exactly why I say circumstance. Yeah, circumstance. All right. The fact that now Barry's turned up now said circumstance because he loves Emerson Royale. You know what I mean? That bang average play. You know what I mean? He needs to sort out his standards. But anyway, moving on. So I had to do that little dig for this guy. Anyway, moving on. But you know, just like for me, just that's the thing. You just got my point straight away. Thank you for getting that. Because that's what I'm trying to say. Is it because of circumstance? Because he was under pressure and then he puts out that. You know what I mean? Pulls out that. You know what I mean? So, but big up to everybody, bro. I'll leave you because you've got Barry here now. So big up to you. Yeah, happy Easter, everybody. Yeah, happy Easter, Barry. Yeah, take care of yourselves. Yeah, take care.
By the way,
yeah?
Alex,
Happy Easter, Alex. Take care, mate.
Go scroll through the comments. Kudos has left some advice for you on Love Island.
Definitely, Rob. Yeah, take care.
Hello, mate.
Welcome, Barry.
With what Alex?
Where's he gone? He didn't
He's
want to
gone.
come for a debate. He didn't want to have a
He's
debate
gone.
with Barry because I don't know. He looked very smart though. Big up, Mr. Box Office. Don't get used to it though. Yeah, don't get used to it.
Don't get used to it.
With what he was saying, he thought it was circumstance on Thursday. What I said earlier on today is that had we played with them tactics, them type of tactics, and that type of formation, had we played with that in other games this season, we wouldn't be sitting with 17 losses. For definite, we wouldn't have been.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, defend as a team and attack as a team. We know that goals haven't been an issue for the main part of the season because we've outscored a lot of teams in the main part of the season. And it's just our defending, because if you don't defend, you end up losing games. And, you know, if we'd used them, I just feel that, what we saw on Thursday, had we used that a bit more often this season, we wouldn't be sitting with 17 losses. For
I know.
But they've been saying, this is the problem, right? I've been told all season, Jose, that the reason we concede so many goals, the reason that we're losing so many games is because the players aren't good enough. We saw on Thursday night, Spurs are capable of looking like a well-oiled team, right? So this is why I've given no credence all season to these players are not good enough, right? Now, let's see, because what it seems to me is, let me bring you in here, Barry. Let me bring you in here. What we've seen is for 2 years, this man has implemented a style that doesn't work. And whenever we move away from his style, we have our best results. City, Villa, Brentford, Frankfurt. All of these good results where we look at it, clean sheet, Frankfurt, clean sheet, Brentford, clean sheet, Villa, clean sheet, Man City. In all of these brilliant wins, the one unifying factor in that is that we didn't play Angeball. That's what frustrates me, Barry, that we're not winning because of him. We're winning when we move away from him. And that's fine. If as a manager, he realizes that and goes, you know what? I've got to change away from my tactics. Fair play. Well done. Stay for as long as you want, mate. But we do inevitably always go back to it, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Look, I think it's I know you're talking about circumstances, and we've seen it. We've seen it all season with Sonny, just scores when he needs to. Ange gets a win when he needs to, or a result, or a performance, or whatever when he needs to. It's just always enough. And you're right. We've seen the games. Look, we've seen the games where, you know, we've gone to Brentford, who were incredible again yesterday, you know, and won. We've gone to Man City, and okay, like you said, it hasn't been the Man City, but it's still to go to Man City and to keep a clean sheet and to win 4-0. To go to Frankfurt, where they've failed to not score, or whatever the stat was in Europe all season, or
383 days since they've not scored at home.
Yeah, since they've not scored at home. So it's baffling how now all of a sudden this can't just be the players saying enough's enough, right? Because we would have seen this weeks ago. Because they can't just. I don't believe for 1 second that these players are sat there and gone, it's a chance for us to get into a semi-final. Let's just go out and play. Let's perform like everyone knows we can perform, right? I just think that they like we were talking about yesterday with the, you can't just switch it off now for the Premier League and then switch it back on May the 1st just because we know, because we're going to rest whatever we're going to rest today. I mean, it's, realistically, he said Son and Madders aren't, Son and Madders aren't going to be there. So that just tells you that you should realistically go with the same team. I don't know, unless you're going to make wholesale changes. But I'm quite happy seeing what we saw on Thursday night. I'm quite happy, like you said, with if he decides to do this in certain games. If we know in the first leg we need to be at least 3-0 up because of that plastic pitch. We saw exactly what's happening. No one knows how they're going to get to Bodo Glimt. There's not going to be many fans there because of everything. So we need to go there and play it. So if we need to play this high line, expansive football, attacking football to get 3 or 4-0 and then go and do what we did against Frankfurt, then I'm fine with that. But it's about understanding when to do that. And I don't think all these players have understood when to do this and at what points. Do you know what I mean? Is it luck? No. Is it just circumstance where it's just happened? Probably. But I don't believe Ange went out and said we're gonna. It's like we saw a back three. I mean, everyone's been crying out for that, saying this system would fit a back three, and then we play a back three, and it's like, what are we doing? Is he listening? Is he watching? I don't know.
The ironic thing was that they had all their chances while we had a back three, didn't they? They had like chance after
chance. I mean, look.
But the interesting thing is,
another day, Lubo. Another day, they're scoring. They're scoring the chances they had in the first leg. They're scoring the chances they had in the second leg. But, and I said this the other day, this is all pointing, and I hate to say it, this is all pointing to Harry Kane in the Champions League final. Son will not play in the semi-final, and then Ange will have to put him in the final, and he has a stinker like Kane does, and I'm sorry, it's pointing exactly the same way.
The interesting thing is, funny enough, I watched the highlights from the first game on Boxing Day yesterday, and if it wasn't for Sells, Johnson would have got a hat trick, and Spurs would have come away with 3 points. They had 70% possession. They pinned Forest back for the best part of the second half, and what does he then say if he sits down with the coaching team and the players and they go through the previous match with Forest and they look at that, they're not then for me you've got to guard against these breakaways that Forest play. They're not in a good place at the moment, Forest. This is their blip during the season, isn't it?
Well, sure. They could be out of the top 5 tonight later on, couldn't they? With Chelsea win. I'm really looking. I know we don't want Chelsea to do what Chelsea to do, but I'd love Forest to just come down a peg or two and 3 on the bounce, lose 3 on the bounce, be out of the top 5.
So tomorrow's a game that we can pick up points. Next week, I've written that off. If Liverpool need 3 points to win the league in front of the full.
Well, I'm hoping it happens today, Lubo, because it's going to happen. I know Arsenal they're going to rotate heavily, right? I think we're all thinking about that. Liverpool win. Liverpool going to beat Leicester. That's a given. Arsenal, if they lose, then obviously then Liverpool are champions. I'd much rather that happen against them than us, because you know what will happen. Liverpool will just be a parade, and we'll just lay down and let them do whatever they want to do. That first leg
Barry, isn't that a good chance though, away at Liverpool, to again drill it into these players about what we did Thursday night? The flat back 4, the not inverting, the keeping a team at bay. Isn't that another opportunity to say, let's drill this in? Now, by the way, I'm not saying that every game you have to do that, but and what we did see is we were crap Thursday night in terms of an offensive unit. We weren't we? We didn't really offer a lot.
Yeah,
but that's what you work on in the summer. If Ange is to stay, that's what you work on and say, right, guys, we've shown the world now that we can defend, right? We've shown the world we can defend, but now we've got to show that there can be a mixture of the defense with the attack. And that's the worrying thing for me, guys. That is truly the worrying thing for me, that we've seen it. So all these excuses of injuries, all these excuses of I don't have the players to play the way I want to play. Well, You do, because these players have been here and we've not seen those performances. So, look, guys, in terms of winning the competition, I tell you what I find hugely funny as a YouTuber is if I turn around and say Spurs aren't winning anything, you get called every name under the sun. If I turn around and go, we should be beating Bodo and winning this tournament, I'm then told that, no, you're taking teams for granted. It's like you can't win. Like, literally, you can't say anything. But this is, guys, this is the best opportunity we've ever had to win a European competition, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is, if anyone had said to you at the beginning of the season that the best team we're going to play en route to a final is Frankfurt, and we're going to get them during their bad spell of the season, I'm sorry, you're all taking it, right? Because at the moment, it looks like if we get to the final, the best team we would have beaten en route is Frankfurt. A good team, right? I'm not going to go overboard. I've said that all year. I mean, I'm not knocking Ange, but this is set up all very nicely for this guy to win this trophy. Now he's got to deliver. There can't be an excuse, mate.
I think we could all sit there and say after the first 3 games in the competition, we hadn't beaten anyone in the group stages, the league stage, or whatever you want to call it, right? And we kind of hobbled over the line in that, right, to get through. And then we haven't played, like you said, we haven't played. We got
16 out of 24. I wouldn't say we hobbled through. We were 4th out of 36. That's not hobbling through.
Yeah, but look, Ian, look who we played. Look when it came to it. But you can only play what's in front of you.
Absolutely.
So I kind of get that. My worry is we're thinking it's all. Yeah, I mean, my worry is, do we? If we get to the final, we should get to the final. Let's not. We should get to the final. Do we want to play Bilbao in their home stadium? Okay, I get it. The fans, what have you, Bilbao in the home stadium. Or do we want to play a Man United team that, okay, we've beaten 3 times already this year. I'm not sure which one. Yeah, exactly. They always, like the other night, Ed and Berry, 2-0, two goals down, they were done, right? And they found a way. United just always find a way to do something. I'm not sure which is the lesser of 2 evils, let's just say. And it's definitely about Wolfie, Philly. He's
unbearable.
I know. Well, I'm sure he's not well, it depends on Monday night. That will be unbearable. I just, so whatever. But look, like you said, we've got, this has been the best route. I mean, you look at when we got, the Man City in the Champions League, whatever, Man City, and we did that, and the VAR, and everything was falling into place. This is doing the same thing, and this is why I say about the whole Sonny Kane comparison. This has got the same sort of vibes. We get through to the final. Sonny's picked, and you're gonna pick him because I don't know. Is that, Son? If you're listening, please put me in the mud because I've been slating you all season, right?
He would be. Nick, he would be
there at the final, and you win us that trophy. I will come on. I will apologise, and I will say thank you very much. But
he will be, Nick. After 10 years at Spurs, I think it'll be. This is his 10th season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. He's been totally loyal. He's stuck with the club. He hasn't won a trophy. He will be so up for that game, like no other, because this will be his. That's his moment. That will be his moment.
Well, he's had lots of moments. He has had lots of moments, right?
From where he is today, at 32 years old, with look at his. He hasn't got another few. He hasn't got 6 more years like he had after Madrid.
But look,
this could be this. This could be his last opportunity for a trophy.
Agreed. But guys, let's be fair, right? Just quick, before we get to the final, there is 0 excuses. And like I said yesterday, everything is aligning. Now, I'm not knocking that. Sometimes you need a nice run. Sometimes you need luck. Sometimes you need the stars to align. But the fact that Frankfurt play us first, right? I wouldn't want to be going to Bodo Glimt Yeah, so Bodo Glimt would have wanted the first leg at home so they can get their game done. That's what they've done in the last 2 rounds. If anyone's looked at them, I'm looking at their results right now, guys. Bodo Glimt in the last 2 rounds beat Olympiacos at home 3-0, then lost the away leg. Beat Lazio at home 2-0, lost the away leg. This time, it's different for them. This time, they haven't got the lead. They won't have that, right? They're coming to our ground, and I think we dispatch them. It would be, and again, all these people that have been telling me how great we are, there's no excuse. I don't want any of this, we can't underestimate Bodo. I'm sorry, guys. Lazio just beat them 3-1 at their own ground, right? Lazio just dispatched them 3-1. There is no reason we should not be dispatching them at White Hart Lane and then doing what we did to Frankfurt at Bodo. They're missing their three of their best 5 players are suspended for the home leg. There's no excuse, guys. Sorry. There's zero excuse to not make this final now. Zero. And we will. I have no doubt in my mind we will be in that final.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I turned around and said on your show on Friday that it's kind of weird because you grow up being told and being drummed into your head in a 2-legged affair, you want to be at home in the second leg. It keeps getting drummed into us all the time. Yet this time round, we've always played home the first leg and then played away. So against Frankfurt, we're home. And the same is going to happen against. And I'm not disrespecting Bodo Glimt by any shape, way, or form. Even without the 3 players that they've got out for the first leg, I'm not, regardless of that, we should, as a Premiership team and the squad that we've got, we should be going out and saying sayonara and putting it to bed at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Well before you get off the plane in Norway to play the return leg. And, you know, it's added now that they've got 3 players injured. But I don't even look at the 3 players that are injured. You just got to do your bits and pieces. You got to do it on your home turf. And that's exactly what we are going to do on May the 1st.
I think
so.
I'm with you.
We get it out. We get it done and dusted, out of sight, and it makes your trip to Norway will just be a cold one, and that's because of the weather, not because of the football.
Isn't it mad that, Jose, we could win this Europa League, and essentially the best team we will beat en route will be a Man United who are as shit as us in the Premier League. Just potentially. I know Bilbao might get to the final. I have something to say about that, but that's mad, isn't it? Like, I'm not knocking it, but what I do know is if we do win this tournament and we go in the Champions League next season, we can't play this gung-ho football in the Champions League.
But you look at, you can't play this football in the Champions League. But you can only play. Look, this year was the first time we've ever seen that supercomputer come out in all 3 European competitions and pick your games, and you played against 2 teams from one pot, 2 from another, and you get to play who you play against. So you knew who your 9 games are going to be. You knew whether you were fortunate to play 4 at home or 4 away, 5 at home or 5 away.
4 games.
So 8 games. So you played your 8 games, right? And there's no 2-legged affairs. If you played 4 at home, 4 away, regardless of who you got. Now, with saying that, you got teams like Ajax, Real Sociedad, Galatasaray, Roma, Porto. Doesn't matter how you look at it. There are some good teams there. There are some good teams that were in that competition that didn't get as far and didn't make themselves get into the quarterfinals. And then, you know, you play who you've got. The chips are falling in such a way that, Frankfurt, the highest rated team that we've played against in the latter stages. I don't know whether Frankfurt were one of the highest placed teams that we played along the way, because I'm not sure whether Roma would have been ranked higher than them. And I'm not sure with Rangers lately and what they've done in Europe. I'm not sure that how highly Rangers were ranked in the European competition. But it is what it is. If you're looking at league positions, then the hardest team that we've played against probably is Eintracht Frankfurt. But you've got to play who you play against. And all I've got to say is, can we continue playing in the green kit? That's what I want. I want to see us continue playing in the green kit.
If you look at the table, Lazio, Bilbao, United, Spurs, Frankfurt, Lyon. So it's kind of the same, right? It's kind of the teams that are left. Bodo were 9th. So the teams that were left,
Rangers were 8th,
pretty much there as what they were from their
Cream
league form.
rises. Cream rises. Look, I'm not. By the way, guys, me saying it's been an easy run to the final, I'm not knocking it. It's just a fact. It's not been difficult. But what we've got to do now is finish the job off. And I'm not going to have Ian. I'm not going to hear it now suddenly where people are now everyone's now an expert on Bodo Glimt. If I had said to you when the draw was made, when we found out who will play who, when you get to that stage of the knockouts where the route, everyone would have wanted Bodo over Lazio. Am I right? Everyone would have wanted Bodo Glimt over Lazio.
I was watching the penalties on my cousin's iPhone, and when that last penalty was saved, it was like, yes, I might not get a ticket now for the semi, but that's a much better semi-final match for Spurs.
Oh, for sure. We all wanted the Lazio players to step up and miss, right? Because in your head you're going, it's Lazio, they've got heritage, it'll be a tough away game, right?
Yeah, and no one, everyone. I think if you asked who were going to be the 4 semi-finalists, it would have been the three plus Lazio instead of Bodo, right? No one was picking Bodo Glimt to be in the semi-finals.
Well, listen,
I'm not knocking them; they're a good team, but
yeah.
I'm sorry. If Bodo Glimt knocks Spurs out of this Europa League, then there's massive issues at the club. Let's be brutally honest. Then there's if they're the ones that step up and knock us out, it's embarrassing from my point of view.
If you were looking at the draw, if you were looking at estimating a semi-final draw Thursday night before kickoff time, me personally, I would have gone United, Bilbao, Frankfurt, Lazio. For me, so I'm actually delighted we're still in it, and I'm delighted we got Bodo Glimt. But the players have got to come out with exactly the same attitude they showed on Thursday. If they don't, if they start getting complacent,
and that's the trouble, Lubo. The trouble is we do this.
Look at Tamworth.
We do this as a club, and we do this as a fan base. We sit there and go, "Oh, it's only Brentford, it's only Brighton, it's only this team. We're going to beat them 4-0." And you're like, "What? Have you seen what we've seen how we've been playing?" And that's where we need to. We've all said it. I think we need to be 3-0 up. Look, I don't care if we do a 0-0 stinker. It doesn't really matter. But Jose said, get the job done. Get it done in that first leg.
Absolutely.
And we don't even worry about it. You don't even need to worry about it. But then don't make wholesale changes. Don't do all of this. All of this craziness and what have you. Get it done. Get it done by see it out to half time in the second leg, and then we can all start working out how we get into Bilbao. Because I was trying to work it out yesterday, and it's not easy. Me and Danny were trying to work it out, and it was like a flight here, stop over there, this there. If you don't want to go direct,
Well, Nick, Sports Options are doing a direct flight. They asked my pal's son who put the three of us down. They're trying to gauge.
Are we going, Lubo?
Well, I've got my hotel booked. Whether I get a ticket or not is another matter, because I think we're only getting. I read we're only getting.
Are we top and tailing then? What's going on? Are we
408? No, I've got. They've got. My pal booked my pal's son booked the Radisson Blue, straight away, and I booked. I booked some hotel. God knows, about 45 minutes from Bodo. I managed to get on Friday night. So right in the middle of nowhere, it's 120 miles from the Arctic Circle. So we're not topping and tailing. Is that we're not topping and tailing? But I've got to tell you something. There's 408 tickets. I think Spurs are getting. So I've got
408.
408.
Look, just quickly, before we move on away from Bodo Glimt, who's the favourite for the tournament now? You've got Bilbao, who I said at the beginning of the tournament they were my tournament favourites. You've got Man United, who, let's be fair, Man United do this. How many years will Man U be bad and still win things? You've got Spurs, who you would say have got the nicest route to the final of all 4 teams, right? If you look at the semi, let's be fair, Man United and Bilbao probably don't want to play each other. Spurs will be happy with Bodo. You've got Bodo, who are the dark horses. Who's the favourite at this moment in time to win this competition?
Based on form this season, it's got to be Bilbao.
Right.
It's got to be.
Yeah, and the fact that they're playing at the finals at their home ground, it's got to be Bilbao.
That's right.
Jose, Bilbao, are they your favourites?
They're not my favourites, but they'll probably be the favourites for the bookies. I think the bookies, and I haven't checked, but I think the bookies will probably have it as Bilbao, Tottenham, Man U, Bodo.
I'll tell you what. I'm going in right now to see if you actually knew this.
I think no. I'm thinking Bilbao because of the home status. I think we're favourites against Bodo, and I think Bilbao have got to be favourites against Man United. So because they've got home advantage, that's what I'm saying. It'll be Bilbao, Tottenham, Man U, Bodo.
It's not.
We're favourites.
I bet United. I bet United the favourites.
No, we are.
No, we're favourites. So the lowest you can get Spurs is 2.6. The lowest you can get Bilbao is 2.8. The lowest you can get United is 3. And the lowest you can get Bodo Glimt. See, if anyone tells me, right, here's what I'm saying. If anyone tells me, oh, but don't underestimate them. And, oh, but, you know, it's tough, right? The bookies have Bodo Glimt at
9 to 1.
No, the lowest you can get them at is 11 to 1.
11 to 1.
10s. 10s if you want to go with Betway. Betway are offering them at 10 to 1. Most of the bookies have them at 13 to 1. So that's what they're saying about the chances of Spurs have got the easiest draw of the semi-final. Do we all agree with that?
Yeah.
United won't want to go to Bilbao. It's still Old Trafford. You saw what they did the other night, even in adversity.
Second leg at Old Trafford.
It's aligning. The stars are aligning, guys. Here's the question.
And the dates are the same for the semi-final, quarter-final, and semi-final. Second leg away from home as well in both, and green kits.
There you go. So the Spurs are the favourites. So again, no reason not to go to Bodo and win. No reason not to win in a one-off game in a final. Let me ask you. I'm going to play devil. I'm going to assume. Sorry, I know assuming is bad for many reasons. I'm assuming we're in the final. Who do you want? If I'm offering you now, United or Bilbao, do you want Man United, who we know we've beaten 3 times, which surely at some stage they've got to beat us, or do you want Bilbao in Bilbao? Who do you want?
I would say, I'm going to say that Bilbao are not the best team. Bilbao are like Frankfurt. Bilbao ain't the best team and the best unit out in Spain. You know, they're way behind your Atletico, your Real, your Barças and that. They're way behind them, you know, on footballing terms I'm talking about. And the way they play the football. They're up and down.
Well, that's why they're in this competition, right? That's why we're in this competition and not the Champions League.
So Bilbao ain't the greatest of Spanish sides. Decent, but not the greatest of Spanish sides. And Man United have had a season like we have. We've both been as shocking as each other. But for me, if you're asking me the question, I prefer Man United in the final. And with Man United in the final, I even think that even with Man United, they've not got used to Amorim's system. I think that they're powder puff up front, whether they play Xerxes out now for the season. That Højlund don't scare no one. The only player that Man United have really got of any note that's a top performer for them is the rat Fernandes. Other than that, the rest of them, I think Man United are beatable on every day of the week and 3 times on a Sunday. But the final will be played on a Wednesday. So it's only twice on a Wednesday.
Can I just say, it's funny that they've only lost 3 in 17.
Who? Man U?
Man United. This is what makes me laugh. We all sit here and go, he's crap. They're not used to his system. I'm pretty sure it was 3 or 4 in the last 17, 18, something like that Man United have lost. So they're not actually
4 in 19, something like that.
They're not losing many. And my worry about Man United, I'm not making you wrong, playing devil's advocate here, Jose. You know what I like to do, devil's advocate. My worry is Man U seem to have stepped up for the bigger games.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to get the result against City. They got the result against Arsenal. I thought against us, I thought they were the better team. I thought they were the better team when we beat them 1-0. Couldn't finish their dinner, but I thought they were decent against us. They seem to get those results, but they seem to be a bit like Spurs in that they'll lose to an Ipswich. They'll lose to a Wolves. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. It could be the worst Europa League final the world's ever seen, couldn't it? Spurs versus Man United.
I'd rather play Bilbao.
Yeah,
I really would. They go into it Spurs right frame of mind. There wouldn't be any of this. Well, we've beaten United 3 times. Let's go and do it again. I want to see Spurs in a final. I went to Molineux in '72. We played Wolves. Madrid. We played Liverpool. I couldn't get to Anderlecht for the final in '84. So I would love to go and see Spurs in a final against a European team. Be a lot easier to get a hotel as well.
What, in Bilbao?
Yeah.
Yeah. You get a hotel called La Casa de Juan.
well, luckily I've already booked 2 hotels just in case. So,
yeah.
That was done. That was done at the start of the season.
Nick,
Phil,
I'll tell you one you don't have.
Again, Phil, when we're saying just look at their performances, they're above us in the table. So whatever we want to say about look at their performances, I'll throw it right back at you. Wouldn't they be, guys? Wouldn't Man United be sitting there right now saying, well, we want Spurs? Well, let's be brutally honest. I'm not knocking us, but if we're going to knock them, they lose less games than us. They're above us in the table. I feel.
Yeah, look, I'm with Lubo. No one gave United a chance against City last season in the FA Cup, and they won it. No, United against us in semi-finals and finals, they always beat us, right? And I think to sit there and say we've beaten them 3 times, yeah, we've beaten them 3 times, but only just. The first game, not only just, but the other 2, they had so many chances, right? And Amarim's been there longer.
Yeah.
And you just know, like Lubo said, it'd be nice to see us play against, because there's then not that added pressure. Yes, you can say it's the pressure of a final, but you want the pressure of the final, the pressure of not lost. That'll be the narrative all week. Oh, Spurs have beaten United all season. They've not lost to them. Is that they're going to go over the line? Is Ange's going to win in his second season? But you can just this is the narrative that's going to be there. So I'm almost thinking, let Bilbao, go there and beat them and get through, and let us play someone where there isn't,
it's not like a Premier League game, is it?
No,
but just in a final. I just want to play.
No, it's not.
Play a European. We're in Europe. I don't want to play an English team.
I agree with you. I want to avoid Man United. I really want to avoid Man United, because when people go, we've beaten them 3 times already. Sometimes those sort of stats, it's like, well, they're going to have to beat us at some point. They turned up last year in the FA Cup final, right? And beat Man City, who were league champions, right? They turned up the year before, beat Newcastle in the League Cup final. So even when Man United are down and out, Man United won Europa League final under Jose Mourinho. They won the League Cup under Jose Mourinho. They just have this knack of at the right time, and I'd rather avoid them. I think they're getting better under this guy, but I just genuinely don't. I genuinely think they need 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new players in the window to play his kind of way of football. But listen, there's no right or wrong. It's not going to be an easy game. Whoever you play in a final, it's a final. Yeah. Bilbao don't concede many goals. They don't. They're a very well-organised unit. They've got some good players going forward.
Well, that's good, because we don't score many goals, so it's fine.
Well, this is going to be the interesting thing, because what you're going to see, though, when you play Bilbao is their wingers compared to a team like Frankfurt. Their wingers are a lot better, right? So you're going to see, how do we cope with that? Do we, again, in the final, do we go gung-ho? Do we stop inverting the fullback? I think there's a lot to this. But look, let's beat Bodo first.
Absolutely.
Let's beat Bodo first. If we go out to Bodo, he's got to be sacked there and then. He has. It can't be. You can't be. You can't be going out to Bodo when you've been given this run, Lubo. by hook or crook, the run he's been given, if I put that in front of you at the beginning of the season, you would have gone, I'm having that all the way. If you said the best team we're going to beat en route to a final is Frankfurt, you're taking it. So,
it's
guys,
like England in the Euros, isn't it? Same thing.
Absolutely. England don't play anybody. Then the moment you get a top team, you go, all right, we're going out. Look, guys and girls, and the player you've got to watch out for me, when you play Bilbao, is Sunset. I always say his name wrong, but he is the attacking midfielder. Lots of goals, lots of assists. Good player. Good player. He'll get on the ball. He'll dictate. He'll make things happen. And I think that's what helped Spurs the other night, actually, was Mario Götze going off. But Mario Götze going off and not being able to prod and probe. And the guy they brought on was decent, but not Mario Götze. Guys, just quickly, let's have a look. Ben Davies. All the noise coming out of Tottenham Hotspur is that Ben Davies is going to have a contract. I don't know whether it's a contract extension or they're just triggering a clause in his contract. I haven't looked into it that deep. Ben Davies, again, I mean, doesn't it just kind of show guys like this, and nothing against Ben Davies, but aren't we just stuck in this rut now where rather than refreshing the squad, rather than saying, right, let's move Ben Davies on and get Vuskovic or Phillips in and or go and get someone better, we're just doing the easy option again, aren't we?
Yep. Yeah. You got Phillips. You're right. Vuskovic, I think, is right-footed, but you've got Dorrington, you've got Phillips that can play there. Why Davies will block the path again? It's just mad what they're doing. I mean, it's Werner there to block Mikey Moore's path. Moore could have played a lot more games if Werner hadn't have been at the club this season. There's never been any strategy at our club. Not this year, not for 25 years. Maybe for a few years with Poch in between, but it's crap. Whole thing's crap. It's, even in Poch's time, players wouldn't be bought until the last week of August. Poch, I think Poch dropped points to Norwich and West Brom at home one year before players came in the following week. Just ridiculous. Just absolutely nonsensical. The whole thing, the club's just run so badly by Levy at the top that this is not surprising, is it? It's not surprising.
Let me ask you, Jose. I mean, look, we constantly talk about wanting to refresh, wanting to do better, and then I've got nothing against Ben Davies. He's been a good model pro. I'm not going to knock that, right? I think he's helped us out in difficult situations down the years. Yeah. But surely now, Jose, is the time where you go, right, let's let him go. Let's let him go to a promoted team or a championship team, be a number one player, and let's either see these young kids come through, or lo and behold, go and buy someone better. Surely.
Yeah, at the moment, from you're recording this or we're talking now, at the moment we have Romero, Van der Ven, Dragusin, and Davies. Forget about Davies in this extension. You've got three defenders there because Danso is on loan. We haven't bought Danso yet. And I would have thought...
it's an obligation, isn't it?
Is it an obligation? Because
it's an obligation to buy.
Okay, so you bring Danso in, so you've got four centre-halves there, and then you're quite right, Ian, you've got the three centre-halves, Vuskovic, Phillips, and Dorrington. Irrespective, that's not the Premiership. In the loans that they've gone onto, all three of them are doing really well on their loans. And it's what loans are about doing well. Dorrington yesterday with Aberdeen, they got through to the final of the Scottish Cup. So Dorrington has reached the final already with Aberdeen when they knocked out Hearts yesterday. So to me, it stinks of, and the club used to stink before where we couldn't move players on. We kept players way too long. And the last two of those players is Davies and Son. They're the last two of the players that are hanging around from the crowd that we had many moons ago.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, we talked about this when we let Lloris go to America, when we let Dyer go to Bayern, and there are other players that they were the two that had been there the longest when we let them go. And there's other players that we didn't get rid of at the right time. It all went stale. You look at people like Dele Alli and stuff like that, and we're doing it again. Davies is currently taking his Coca-Cola, his UEFA coaching licenses and stuff like that. So he wants to move on and do stuff like that. Yeah, I would have preferred, even though he's been a good servant for the club and he's a good guy. He's probably a fantastic guy in and around the dressing room and behind the scenes and that. But if we want to move on, for me, I wouldn't have extended Davies, but then I wouldn't have extended Son last year either. So, with Sonny, they've got to make a decision in the summer, because if you've extended him for a year, then the last time you can ever make money on Sonny will be this summer as well. We just seem to be. Now, I don't know whether it's because of Levy or whether it's because of the people that we have working in that area, like your Langers and your Scott Munns, that come up with these decisions, because they can't go out and do the deal with other players from other clubs. It's stinky, it's smelly. Davies has been, I'm not going to knock Davies because he's been a good pro for us, but I would have moved Davies on. Oh, sorry, not moved him on. I would have let him go on and find himself another contract. Probably got a two. He probably can get a 2 or 3 year deal elsewhere, and let him go and do that, and then and see what happens from there. But I wouldn't know. Yeah, to me it's stinky, and it's all. I think it's for all the wrong reasons that we've kept him on for another year.
Absolutely. I mean, Barry, let me ask you just quickly. I was reading this article from One Football, and this is what they said. Their title was "The Ben Davies decision is a microcosm of the problem at Tottenham," and basically goes on to say that normally contract extensions are celebratory, but in the case of Tottenham, it looks like we're just giving a journeyman another extension instead of looking to the future.
Yeah, look, and for me, this was apparently done ages ago. But why does it need to be done ages ago? Why don't we need to wait and see? If we've not got Europe, we don't need half these players, let alone Ben Davies as well, right? Because even if we say, let's say if we don't get Europe and Romero's sold because he's had enough, we still have enough in defence. We don't have a great defence, granted, but for one game a week, we have enough there.
You've got Danso, Dragostin, Van der Ven, Vuskovic, Phillips. That's five centre backs if you remove Romero and
Dorrington.
And
Dorrington as well.
And then obviously you got our Lubo's favourite that can play there if required. I mean,
we nearly went a show without talking about Gray. He would
have still mentioned it. It's like me and Emerson. We can't go a show without not mentioning it, Savva, right? Let's be fair. So, I just think we look. He's done what he's done, but someone like Leeds United, Burnley, whoever comes up in the playoffs,
right?
That would be where you'd be looking and going, and Rodon's at Leeds, Spence went to Leeds, Solomon's at Leeds. So it's not like there's no relationship there, right? And I just think that someone like that would, it would be perfect for someone, you kind of think every time there's someone to be perfect, to go to another club, to help them, to get guaranteed game time, to get all of this. We don't worry, we'll extend the contract. We all know why Son's contract was extended. That's a no-brainer. Let's hope that a decision is made, and actually he could just go out on a high, right? If we go all the way, we win Europa, he can go, I've done my bit.
Absolutely.
I've got thanks very much. That's it. But it just again, it's the timing of it, it's the announcement, it's the lack of thought, the lack of planning. Surely if we're all sitting here going, I can't think for one moment that, whatever Davies is on and Daniel Levy's going, oh, should we just be nice? Should we be nice and give him another contract? Should we extend it for a year, or should we just get rid of him?
It just shows no forward thinking, though, doesn't it, guys? If
he doesn't need to play, does he? He just needs to replace him.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're talking about that. If I'm Phillips, if I'm Vuskovic, if I'm Dorrington, I'm literally looking at this and going, what am I doing here? Because what will happen is especially if you're playing one game a week. Listen, if we get into the Champions League, slightly different. If we get into the Champions League, you need better quality than all of the players I've just mentioned, by the way. If you get into the Champions League, you don't want Phillips, Vuskovic, Dorrington or Davies. If you're playing one game a week, you're sitting there and thinking, right, we play a back four, right? You know that the back two is going to be, if Romero stays, it's going to be Romero Van der Ven. If Romero goes, it's going to be either Danso and Van der Ven or Dragoshin and Van der Ven. The other one will be the next step up, will be the next one. You know that the fourth choice is going to be Ben Davies. You know he's going to be the guy they call upon. So if you're those younger players, what do you do? Like, what are you thinking, guys? I don't know. It just seems like it must be what Mikey Moore's thinking. He's seeing Yang ball. He's seeing Odegaard ball. He sees Tell coming in on loan. And this is exactly the same thing we're doing with every youngster that we want to see. We're just buying more and more people in front of them, or the older players in front of them are just extending. So when does it become a new era?
Well, we the same thing, and it's not a great comparison, but the same thing happened with Tanganga. Yes, he got injured and everything else, but there was no pathway. There was no plan. And then he goes to Millwall and he's playing every week. He's at Spurs. He's getting injured. I mean, there doesn't seem to be that cohesion and that plan to say, this is, Mikey Moore. We said this the other day in the group. We were saying youngest scorer in Europa League, never to be seen again this season. Never to be seen. And like you said, he's thinking, well, hang on a minute. He must know, and people will be telling him, everyone thinks you're the next big thing. Everyone thinks you're this. Everyone thinks you're that. Maybe that's some of it. Maybe, but you've got to give the kid a chance.
Nick, I think we'll have more of an idea once we get to the end of the season and we know who next year's manager is going to be. I'm sure Ange will be gone. I really do think he'll be gone. And I think the kids, the youngsters will be looking forward to seeing who the manager is. Everybody starts with a clean slate, first day back at pre-season training, and away they go.
You think so? You think you'd like to think so? At any other club, you would say it's a clean slate. At Tottenham Hotspur, there'll be this pecking order because there always seems to be this.
But if you get a Silva or a Frank or a Glasner coming in, for argument's sake, they'll come in with fresh eyes. They'll be looking at all the players and seeing which ones they fancy and which ones they don't.
Okay, so what if that new manager? Listen, first of all, I don't think we're getting a new manager. By the way, I think this guy's staying. Right? I do. I think he's staying. The stars have aligned for this man. I think he's done so shit. If he was going to get sacked, he would have been sacked.
Do you think? Well, yeah, I think you're right. Do you think then this is all playing into Poch finishing after the World Cup? Then do you think
absolutely. I think he'll stay. I think what he'll do. I think he's going to win the Europa League. He'll stay, and then next year you can start having the conversations with Poch of, hey, finish out the World Cup. And then the moment that finishes, let's get you on board. But let's say a new manager comes in. If I'm the new manager, Lubo, and by the way, we're only going to go until 1:45. We're going to go for 10 more minutes as long as the panel are comfortable with that.
Yeah, okay.
4 minutes to go.
Yeah, we're finishing at 1:45. I've got to be away. I've got to be out.
Love that. Bang. Bang. That's how Daniel Levy operates. I need a new contract. Bugger off. Love it, right? The interesting thing is we're talking about if a new manager comes in. So what if a new manager does come in and one of the first things they're told is, right, what's my defenders? Well, Ben Davies has just signed a new contract. You'd be like, what would, you see what I'm saying, guys? If we're playing once a week, these people are never going to play. These young defenders will never get a game, ever. One game a week. One game a week. If we're playing one game a week, drag us in. I'm again, hypothetical. We're assuming Romero goes. Drag us in and Danso are now fighting to play one game a week. It's gonna be tough, right? You can't rotate when you play one a week.
I see a few people putting in about Davies. The only reason why he's been given this extension so you can have a sell-on fee for him. You're not going to get much of a sell-on fee for Davies. Davies is at an age now where you could have just cut ties with him and let him go this summer. If it's a year extension, let him go this summer on a free and not have an issue at all. Who's going to pay for Ben Davies this summer? No one's going to pay for Ben Davies.
No, and you're right, Jose. And also, when you sit there with one game a week, in theory, and what we've seen in the past, we actually do all right with one game a week. We can cope with one game a week. And if we're winning, if there's no injuries and we're winning, then there's even less of a chance of anyone even rotating, because that'll go back to that, not comparing, but that season when, you know, when we didn't have Europe and we were playing one game a week and we were winning and we were you know, we were enjoying, you know, things were good. And that's what it'll be like. It's yeah, I just don't.
And he's on 80 grand a week.
Wow.
And he's on 80 grand a week. So again, if you're going to bring in another defender who's a better quality, let's be fair. This is Tottenham haven't changed. This isn't a new era. This isn't a new scope. This is what we did. We did this with Lamella. He just kept signing new contracts. We did it with Eric Dyer. Right, we did it like we didn't know when to let Dele Alli go. It took forever to get rid of him. We've done it with Son. We did it with Sissoko. We just seem to do this with everybody because it's easier than actually having a full-blown succession plan. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's the same people ruling the roost, isn't it? And it begs me the question that I've said all along. What has Scott Munn done for the 2 years he's been at Tottenham? I can't understand what Scott Munn's done. Langer as well, I can't understand it. These people are not the type of people that can close out deals. So the easiest option for them is, let's go down this route. Let's follow the tried and tested path at Tottenham and just do what Tottenham do and extend these people's contracts by a year, because it's a lot easier to do that than go out and actually sign a player or go out and actually negotiate for a player or actually, like you said, have a plan. This is what we're going to do over the next 3 years. There seems to be absolutely none of that. None of that at all happens at Tottenham. And it's disappointing because, like everybody, we're all fans, we're all supporters. We want to move on. We want to go to the next stage. We want it for our club. We want it for our sanity. We want it for our health. But Tottenham always deliver. It's the same thing they deliver year in, year out. And this is just another one of those lines.
Sav, I've got to fly, but the last thing I'll say is that, and there's a good point made on the comments just now, Vinay will come in. He's come from a club with a winning mentality, and he will look at Spurs 15th, 16th, 17th, wherever we finish. It's going to be around those three spots, probably. And he'll look at it and he'll think, gee, he'll say, Daniel, this is where your manager has got the club. Is this what you want? Is this the winning mentality? Is this the type of winning manager? We've won a cup competition. You're not going to be at that level this year. If we win it, that's if we win it. You're going to be in the Champions League. This team has got absolutely no chance. If you're finishing 15th, you're going up against people like PSG, Liverpool, Bayern Munich. What are they going to do to this team? You've got to bring in. We've got to start afresh, clean balls. You're starting from strength, because if Spurs do win, then players will want to come and they'll want to play Champions League. So this will be an opportunity. Do not miss that opportunity. Go and get a much better manager and go and get better established players. We've got enough kids. Got plenty of kids. Don't need any more kids. Get rid of Centel back to Bayern Munich. Werner will go back to Leipzig. Yang another year, whatever. But you've got to then be a serious football club. And Vinny will come in and he'll say, do you know, this isn't serious. This is like Mickey Mouse compared to Arsenal, and it is. And it is.
I think you're bang on with the Champions League thing as well, because if we get Champions League football, right, from winning the Europa League, what I don't want to see is all these people that back Ange. I don't want to see them next year start going, oh, but we're playing 2 times this week. No. That's what those clubs do.
That's right.
That's what those clubs do. They play Wednesday or Tuesday. They then play on the weekend. They then do it again. Aston Villa have negotiated it brilliantly this year. Semi-final of the FA Cup, quarter-final of the Champions League, top 5 of the Premier League. That's where you've got to be at. Our owners need to go out this summer, and we need to do what Villa have done. We need to go and give ourselves 5-6 forwards that we can rotate.
Yeah.
Right?
Like Liverpool do. exactly like Liverpool do. And to the guys in the chat, I would send Tell back because he's not what we need at this moment in time. 2-3 years' time, he may well develop into a very, very good player. I'm sure he will. But we've got Mikey Moore, we've got Odebear, we've got these players at the club, we've got Yang.
Yeah.
We don't need any more. We're better off bringing in Brian Mbuemo from Brentford rather than and Philly. Tell will not be a free because Bayern owe us the money. It's not a free transfer. They owe Tottenham the money. You're wiping off, you're taking out money that's owed to the club if you bring Tell in. So it's not a freebie, believe me. This isn't a free transfer like Perisic was. Guys, great seeing you. Have a great day. Great day, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Happy Easter, Lubo.
And see you. Take care. Cheers.
Guys, I'm going to wrap up in a few minutes anyway. But look, just quickly before we do, I think this is, we talked about Tell the other day. This has been my point about it all along. It's not that I don't think he will be a good player in a few years. It's not that I think he's the worst footballer I've ever seen. But again, we're looking at a player that we've already got loads of people potential in that position. If we're going to buy another one in that position, the only way I accept it, guys, is if we go and buy a top player in that position. You've got Yang, who's potential. You've got Odebear, who's potential. You've got Moore, who's potential. I don't want another one in Tell that is potential. Surely that's just common sense, isn't it?
We've got right with this Vinay coming in and whatever, and if we win the Europa League, we'll be in the Champions League next year, mate. I thought we were 5 players light in the squad this season. And so that means we're still 5 players light. And then you want to go into the Champions League. We would need to have an absolutely bloody major overhaul in order to continue if we get to the Champions League. You're talking about major. And if you want to be a major player, you're talking about 10 players, bringing 10 players in, not 5, because we're 5 short already. You need to bring in another 5 on top of that. You need to bring in 10 major players in order to become players to chase and to be able to compete here on 4 fronts next season if we're in the Champions League. And do I see Tottenham doing that? The evidence is there for everybody to see. Now, whether this Vinay fella or anything can change anything, I don't know. But the evidence tells us we are not going to be, even if we qualify for the Champions League, we win the Europa League, yeah, brilliant, be fantastic. And then Champions League football next year, we'll just do what other teams do that don't prepare, that don't plan, that don't build, and we'll end up falling by the wayside. Yeah, it's great Champions League music, Champions League nights for 4 games because it's 4 at home, 4 away for 4 games. But then that's it. You go out because you haven't improved and you haven't done what you're meant to do.
Absolutely. And just quickly, so I'll start with gaming. I honestly believe that when this microphone goes on, something different comes out of my mouth and into the microphone and into the speakers of wherever anyone's listening. Listen to what I said. I'm saying we've already got young players of potential in that position. Second of all, Tell has done nothing for me to say that I want to sign him. If I'm going to, I don't see anything that makes me go, yeah, don't worry, Bayern Munich. Don't give us the money you owe us for Kane. Just give us Tell. I think that we're doing this thing again, guys. We're doing this thing again. Like, obviously, my mate Phil Coys, we'll regret it if we don't sign Tell. But again, he'll be the first person next year going, we don't buy top players. Barry, just before we finish, we can't keep doing this. We can't keep wanting kids, wanting 19-year-olds. Then we go, but we haven't got a squad good enough to... We can't do that, Barry. Because let's be fair. Tell has done... let's be fair. He scored one that hit him against Wolves and he scored a penalty against Southampton in the last minute when we're already winning 2-1. Right? He doesn't get crosses into the box. The stats show that he doesn't beat his man a lot. He doesn't assist. And we go, yeah, but he's young. But we've got that. If that's what we want, why don't we just give more those games? If we want to develop someone, why don't we give it to more and get the money that Bayern Munich owe us and strengthen elsewhere? I don't get these fans. I don't get them. Barry. I don't get it.
Yeah, you're right. Look, I think we've seen it across. We've seen it across numerous positions that we have to. No, Tell is better than Sonny right now. So what are we doing?
Based
here?
on what? Based on what?
What are you basing it on? If you're basing it on goal contributions this season, no, he's not. If you base it on the goal contributions in the last few games, then yes, because he's got a penalty and one's hit him at Wolves. I mean, it's just madness, right? So we need to.
By the way, Robert, he's not. Sorry, Barry. I hate this. He's not. I went in and did all the fact check the other night on Tell because people like Phil Coys, who never gets anything right about football. He started lying and saying, "Oh, but he beat his man every time." Do you know how many times he beat his man the other night, guys? Once. He beat his man once in 90 minutes, and we're going, "Oh, he's got his man on toast. He's there for the taking." Well, he might have been there for his taking, but Tell couldn't take it. And this is what I mean. We keep saying things that aren't actually true. He's not getting any crosses into the box. He's not getting successful dribbles. He doesn't assist. He doesn't take his man on. But people are going, I see something in him. We could do that with any kid, guys. We could do that with any kid. I see something in him. Great. Well, let's see something in the kids that are in the academy rather than spending 50 million to go and buy another one that
let's go and operate like Chelsea have operated and making pure profit on their youngsters rather than us blocking the pass of these youngsters and buying more youngsters when we should just give them the opportunity. If we're going down that route of giving them opportunities, then let's just give them the opportunities. Because if we know that, then we know what we're not going to get as upset if we know that that's the plan and that's the pathway and that's what we're doing. If we're going to give more time, if we're going to give Dorrington time, if we're going to give Donnelly time, or whatever the situation is. But let's be honest, we know that's not going to happen because we've still got Alfie Whiteman and Brandon Austin. And Brandon Austin only made his debut in the Premier League this season, 9 years after that. Phil, stop trolling, mate. Go and have an Easter egg. Go and have an Easter egg, mate, and stop this nonsense.
But this is the thing. Like when we're doing this thing again, people like Phil will turn around and go, "We're not good enough. Levy does this. Levy needs to buy better players." But yet every single signing we want needs to be a risk. We've got Odegaard, who was the risk. Mikey Moore could be the risk that we develop, right? Why do we want to go and spend our transfer budget on this guy? I don't understand this club at all. I don't. Do you know what, Jose? And we will finish shortly. Jose, if this guy had come in and we'd gone, wow, look at these performances, sure. But he's come in, doesn't really do anything that Odegaard and Moore don't do anyway. And we got fans like Phil going, he's worth the risk. Is he worth spending money on when we've already got wingers? Just don't get it.
He's a different profile to what we've got, but then so are the rest of them a different profile, I believe, to what we've got up front. But for me, the only natural winger that we have at the club, if you're going to call him a winger, is Odegaard. The rest of them are inside or wide forwards. They are not wingers. Tell is not a winger. Johnson is not a winger. Kulusevski, when he plays it, ain't a winger. Mikey Moore is not a winger. Yang might be a winger. He's at QPR. He looks like he's out. He's a winger. He's got the profile of a winger. But Tell is not a winger. Tell is a wide forward. And so Tell to make him play in a winger's position would be alien to him. To having to take players on, to go in and out on players would be alien to him because it's not what he is. It's not what he does. We've got, like I've said this many a time before, we've got in the front three positions, we've probably got about 6 or 7 to choose from. And they're all different in their profiles, but they don't gel. It doesn't matter who you pick and who you put up there. We ain't got 3 players that we, even with their profiles, that gel up there and haven't gelled all season and don't look like gelling at the moment. We need a change. It's not just in defense, some defenders. We need changes in midfield. This is what I'm saying. Five like last season, win the Europa, get into the Champions League. You need you need 5 more on top of that. There is a lot. It's great. Look, it's great to qualify for the Champions League, right? And it must be great because for the club, it's revenue, it's money. It's great for the club that way. For fans, I suppose, as fans, we want to be mixing it with the best. But is it worth mixing it with the best if you're utter garbage and you're just going to go and get and make look like a laughing stock? And that's what I fear for Tottenham, because if we're going to be the same Tottenham that we have been for the last however many years, we won't take this as a stepping stone to improve, to get us better. If we were to do that, then I'd view it differently. But at the moment, I don't have any hope that if we win the Europa League, qualify for the Champions League, that the hierarchy are going to do anything for us going forward.
Look, let's thank you very much. Let's leave it there. A couple of super chats. Big up to George, who said happy Easter to everyone on Football Heritage TV. Happy Easter to you as well, my man. Thank you, George. Always very, very generous. Thank you. Anthony Clark with his customary super sticker. Big up to you, Anthony. Really appreciate you as well. You know I do. Salty Bill has said it's not that cold in Norway in May. It's not like there's snow here all year. It will be cold for the English people. Put it that way, Salty Bill. Big up to you. Thank you very much, Salty Bill. Listen, I'm going to ask one favour. Please, guys, there's still nearly 500 of you in here. Before we go in the next 120 seconds, can we please go and smash that button for Jose? He's such a good guy. You know, he talks really well. He's nice. He's lovely to everyone. He's doing his thing. Why are we not going over there? Please, right now, can everyone click on this link that has been put in there? I don't know if anyone else could put it in just as a link. If anyone could just put it just as the link without all the words, please go over there and subscribe and get this man to, is it 1,000 we're looking at, isn't it, Jose?
Yeah, I want to do what everyone else has done and get this 1,000 off my back. Once I've got the 1,000, I'm a happy man. I've done what everyone else does, and you know, it's been a long road, but it's because I did stop it and go and help out another channel and get them to the 1,000. And now I'm trying to do it myself and mine. So yeah, look, I enjoy everyone in the chat. I enjoy the whole community. I enjoy all YouTubers, you know, and at the end of the day, the work it's hard. What Savva does, you know, Savva may have whatever followers he's got and stuff like that, but I can tell you it is hard work. What these guys do is hard work, and they they put themselves in front of a camera, in front of you guys, give you content, allow you to have a platform in the chat to have your say, and you get your comments read out as well. You know, at the end of the day, yeah, I say support everyone, whether you watch or not. Just support everyone, because everyone deserves it for the hard work.
Guys, 70 to go. There's 450 of you in here. 70. Come on. Can 50 nice people at least just go over and go boom, boom, boom. Come on, guys. If you don't like his content, yeah? If you don't like his content, unsubscribe at a later date. But you will like his content. He's a great guy. Get over there. Come on, people. That first 1,000 is tough. We're now 65 away. 65 away. It's whittling down. People, come on. Let's get over there. Come on. 412 of you. Guys and girls, we're not going anywhere until we've hit this. Get over there. Smash that button. Come on, people. Let's help each other out. We're 64 away. 64. Who's going to be the next 10 to get over there? We're 62 away. Come on, guys. It's whittling down.
Really?
Come on, guys and girls. Yeah, I've got your channel open on my
Oh, okay, because I haven't.
I've got your channel open. We're 60 away. 60 away. Come on, people. 60 of you. You tight gits. There is the link. There is the link. Come on, people. 60 to go. Can we please smash that button and make it a very, very nice Easter for Jose? Guys and girls, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you. Please do subscribe. Guys, I will be live on Big Up at 10 to 2, so in 15 minutes. Just doing this free 2 o'clock games, isn't there? Man United Wolves, Fulham Chelsea, and Ipswich Arsenal. So 3 games. We'll be covering them all. I think the Arsenal one might be the one that's live.
Is there 4 today? 4 games not being played today?
Yeah, but Leicester Liverpool's at half 4. It's those 3 games at 2 o'clock.
Oh, so it's 2 o'clock kickoffs. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So come and join me there just for a chilled one. That'd be much appreciated. The link I'll put in the chat, but I'll put it on my I'll put it in my community page anyway. And there is the link for that. If you want to join me at 10 to 2, we just have a chilled out. We play around with the gifts. We have a bit of a laugh. It's a bit more chilled than talking about Phil Coys being a flip-flop and me apparently thinking that 17th in a trophy is okay when I never said that. But listen, thank you very much to everyone. And thank you for helping out Jose. We've managed to get to 951. We've managed to get him to 49 away. I love you lot and hate you lot at the same time.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
We're edging closer. Jose, thanks for joining. And please make sure you enjoy the rest of your Easter.
Spurs review's back to normal time next week, isn't it?
Normal time next week. Spurs review, normal time. It's only because I'm with the family tonight. But I am live, as I said, in 52 minutes over on Big Up. By the way, I was just looking at the Man U team to see if they did make these sweeping changes that Amorim said. And they've brought in young Harry Amass, who played last week, the defender. And they've also brought in a young 20-year-old defender, called Tyler Fredrickson. Other than that, Agate, Mainu, Mazraoui, Lindelof, Højlund, Garnacho, Eriksson, Dorgu, Anana. So, hey, it is what it is. Let's see if Arsenal changed their team. Did they? Away at Ipswich. Let's just have a cheeky little look at the Arsenal. No, Arsenal have got a very, very strong team out. So, guys and girls, much love. Take care. And as always, come on.
Come on.
You Spurs.
You Spurs.